The city is rebuilding. Economies are getting stronger. But what about the health and wellness of its citizens? Let's talk about it.
Welcome to My Healthy Mind. I'm Elizabeth Atkins, and this is my co-host, Michael Hunter. My Healthy Mind wants to help you cultivate wellness in mind, body, and spirit. And we're doing that by showcasing stories of real people who've triumphed over huge challenges and now are on quests to help others. We're also doing that by showcasing experts who can provide you with the resources and tools to improve your life, your health, and enjoy wellness on a whole new level. We're so excited that you joined us today on My Healthy Mind.
And Elizabeth, I'm really excited about today's show, as I am about most of our shows.
Yes.
And we have some guests today that are going to help us talk about healing the person and not just the city.
Ooh.
Right now, you hear a lot of buzz about the city of Detroit being healed and coming back and recovering. And we're going to take that and expand it a little bit and talk about the wellness of its citizens.
Yes, I love that concept, Michael, because it takes an individual effort to have a collective impact to improve our city.
Absolutely.
And we're on such a beautiful trajectory in Detroit right now with our rebirth and rebuilding. It's so exciting.
Yes, and people don't think about how if I get better, I can help the community get better.
Yes.
So if I'm whole and I'm healthy and I'm well, then my community begins to get whole and healthy and well as, at the same time.
Right.
And I think our guests do a great job of bringing that out so that we see that, hey, it's not that difficult to do. You hear about it maybe, but can I do it? And we get a chance to showcase that absolutely you can.
Yes, and they're going to give us concrete tools on how we can do that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Even the experts that are on next. So after this commercial, we're going to have our guest and we're going to have some great conversation.
Burns, so scared of his return that I can't sleep tonight in this hospital life.
We have 3 beautiful children, and everything you do or say to me, they take pictures with their minds, and I want to put a stop to that.
Sometimes I have thoughts of killing you. You know that?
Go ahead. You're doing me a favor.
Alex was the only one that knew the secrets.
Boy, why don't you leave that girl alone for you mess around and get her pregnant?
Why do you have so many boyfriends?
They all treat me nice.
When they ever treated you to anything? Only time they come around here is when they want one thing.
No!
You eat so damn much, why can't you choke on something? You're just a fat, disgusting excuse for a kid, and I ought to smack you!
I should have died instead. They were right.
No, you have. Life is worth living.
I have every type of abuse in there.
Yeah. Verbal, physical, sexual, mental.
You name it, it's in that room.
You see, after years of abuse, you lose yourself.
Miss Vivica. Miss Vivica.
Cause this time, it's the last time. I know that my eyes have seen too much. This nightmare is not fair, and I've had enough. You broke me. Did you say you're sorry? You call this love, but this time your lies are not enough. This time.
I know you've been through some hell and high water, but I see a turnaround right now. You will be silent no more.
Welcome back to My Healthy Mind. Detroit is on the rise, and as the city gets better and healthier in its economic development, we want the people to be just as healthy. A healthy city, healthy people. So we're joined today by Jenny Kapler, who is a health coach and the owner of Matson Calories. Welcome.
Thank you.
Jenny, we understand what a coach is from a sports perspective. You know, that person is going to be there motivating you. Tell us how that translates to a health coach.
Okay, it's similar because motivation is one of the places that we are designed to help our clients be positive about moving forward in a different path than they have been on before. So motivation is in there. But there's also expertise or education in physical wellness, the body, mental wellness, the spirit and the mind, at least I have that, and nutrition. So the credentials that I carry give me a wealth of knowledge in all four of those areas, and I use them with each client that I take on.
And can you tell us how us as individuals can help heal our city? Because our city is in a huge transformation right now, and each of us matters. Everything we do contributes to the positive success of our city. What can we do to become healthier, to help our community be healthier?
Oh my gosh, there's so much we can do in terms of becoming healthier of mind, body, and spirit, right? Every person matters, every person counts, and every person can do something a little different that will impact the course of their wellness over the rest of their lives. And so we are designed to help people understand where in their lives currently they have routines set up either in their mind or just in their efficient task of their days that may be harmful to their health and wellness. And we get in those and we help them through techniques and tips. We help them steer to another path. It starts here, though. It starts in the mind.
And so if I'm at home and I'm sitting on my couch and I have my dent where I always sit in my clicker and my Cheetos or whatever it is, how do you come in and help me? Like, what's that first step? Like, what would be the first thing you would tell someone?
Yeah, so everybody's different and unique, right? So what you do is not the same as what Elizabeth will do, and so what a coach has to do is identify the uniqueness of each of their clients and help them understand which routines are beneficial and which routines should probably be switched. And then we help them switch the routines in a powerful way. It's very hard to switch the brain routines that we have set up because we're Homo sapiens are designed to use those routines for efficiency and safety, right? So we create those to help our world be a good place, an easy place, an even place. But oftentimes those routines send us down a path that is not well and not healthy, and we don't know how to get away from them because they drive our everyday behaviors. So the coach has to come in and do a total assessment on the client and find out where they can impact for best and most powerful difference to that person, that client, that Detroit native who, you know, we want Detroit back. So everybody counts and everybody has to pay attention. You have to be mindful.
What are 3 things that I could start doing today to be healthier in a way that helps everybody?
Boy, that's a great question. So I don't know you well enough to be able to identify those 3 things, but I'll give you some generalizations. So the first thing I see, the statistics are terrible in terms of our health and wellness, and I'm talking physical health. This is the first generation of children that will not outlive their parents. Why? Because we're all overweight, or 60% of us, 66% of us. These are CDC statistics, Centers for Disease Control. And that's if you carry too much weight, you impact the systems inside of your body. It's harder for those systems to work. So there are things we can do just in terms of the nutrition that we eat and choose, and the physical exercise that we get, and the mindfulness.
That's exactly what we need to hear more about after this commercial break.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you.
Stress, depression, and severe mental illness can happen to anyone. Team Mental Health Services has been helping those struggling with these conditions in southeastern Michigan. Within 24 hours of reaching out to our team, members receive psychiatric evaluations and begin the necessary treatment for recovery. Team Mental Health Services prides itself on going the extra mile for its members.
And it was towards the 6th court date. I finally stood up and said, I can handle this process the rest of the way. And it was all because of the motivation and encouragement I got from Team Mental Health staff.
Team Mental Health Services, because we care and you can.
The people here actually care about you and your future and what you become after you graduate high school.
Loyola's mission is to turn out good young men.
Loyola is a place to help us grow.
A smaller setting and more one-on-one.
Give you that one-on-one attention that you don't normally get.
Making sure that the student is taken care of spiritually, educationally, and physically.
I focus more at this school than I did all my other schools.
By the time they get to about the 10th or 11th grade, they're basically bonded like brothers.
If you're looking for a brotherly love or someone to lean on or get in touch with and talk to personally, this school is the perfect place to go.
We're talking with health coach Ginny Kapler, who's sharing some tips that all of us can use to become more healthy as individuals to help our city and our region become healthier. Ginny, what are some of the things that you can teach us that have been successfully implemented in your clients' lives that we can do every day?
Right, so every client is different. You have to get a unique perspective on the client to understand what they need to do. But in a general sense, there are things that we can do to heal the city and the people in the city, their bodies and their minds. Like for instance, I have a client who was retired, female, 55, had started to put on weight, 50 pounds or so. She had a bad knee. She went and saw her doctor. And the doctor had told her she would probably need a knee replacement in a year. So she brought me in to see if she might be able to avert a knee replacement by building up the muscles in her legs. And so of course we set the goals up. You always have to have a goal. That's a great thing to be mindful about. Just understanding that whatever you're doing right now as an unconscious feed in your behavior could potentially be harming you as a person. So she had that mindfulness, she had that feed. And so we put a program together to build up the leg muscles that were sort of impacting the knee's use and the torque on the knee. And within 6 months, this young lady, I'll say she's my young, robust friend, ran a sprint triathlon with me. Wow. So it can be done. She was the normal that we see. She was the general person that we see out there in the city. But she had the mindfulness to take control of her behavior and the path she was on. And that's the first step. And then bring a coach in who's got the education and can train you to change your path in a different way. Wow. And so not only did she run a sprint triathlon, she took the gold medal in her age group, beating me for the gold. Yeah, she beat me. I love her, right? Right? And I probably wouldn't tell the story if it wasn't my client that beat me. I'd be like, what? But yeah, so everybody, it's possible. Wow. So the second piece of that sort of 4-chain domain in getting you to a better place is believing you can do it. And one of the things a coach will help you see is that anybody, it's possible. Wow.
Yeah. What about children? You had mentioned earlier that, children need more, if you will, trying to get healthy. Right. So tell me about some of the things we could do to help kids.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I think they need to get away from all of the entertainment devices that keep them stationary, not using their heart, not using their minds, this is really good for eye-hand coordination, but that's about it, right? So we need to take those away. You need to, again, goals are powerful. So if you say to, I have a son and a daughter, if my son and daughter were doing too much of this, I would say, you know what, at least 2 hours, outside, go, breathe the fresh air, run around, get on your bike. So we need to find a way back to the times where using our bodies was something we did without thinking. That's the unconscious path that I think we should try to get us back to. The other side is nutrition. So we've got this external stimuli that drives us to use convenience, and because mothers are working more often and they don't have time to cook. And so the more we use convenience or fast foods, the worse we are doing for our children. We're not giving them nutritious, vitamin, mineral-packed foods, so their bodies suffer for it. You may not know it because you don't feel it, it's very subtle, but their bodies suffer for it. So those two things I think need to happen. We need to be mindful as parents to choose the right paths for our children, and then they'll absorb and learn better behaviors and they won't become that statistic that will not make it to the same longevity as their parents.
Right,
I said that earlier, didn't I?
Yes, you
First
did.
generation
You
that
sure
will
did.
not live as long as their parents.
But say I'm a working mother, I have kids, I have a job, I have a home. What do I do every day to take small steps to make my family healthier?
So one of the things I like to do is show people how to choose their foods appropriately on the weekend and cook for the week's foods. So you cook for all week. You cook for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have your lunch, you bring it with you. Do the same for your children, pack their lunch. My daughter said to me, Mom, you used to pack our lunch. Doesn't happen anymore. You give the ticket to the food girl and she gives you pizza.
Right.
It's harmful.
Jenny, thank you so much for joining
you're
us today. We
welcome.
can go on and on. Hopefully we'll have you back again in the future.
I would love it.
Thank you guys so much for watching My Healthy Mind.
The people here actually care about you and your future and what you become after you graduate high school.
Loyola's mission is to turn out good young men.
Loyola is a place to help us grow.
A smaller setting and more one-on-one.
Give you that one-on-one attention that you don't normally get.
Making sure that the student is taken care of spiritually, educationally, and physically.
I focus more at this school than I did all my other schools.
By the time they get to about the 10th or 11th grade, they're basically bonded like brothers.
If you're looking for a brotherly love or someone to lean on or get in touch with and talk to personally, this school is the perfect place to go.
Stress, depression, and severe mental illness can happen to anyone. Team Mental Health Services has been helping those struggling with these conditions in southeastern Michigan. Within 24 hours of reaching out to our team, members receive psychiatric evaluations and begin the necessary treatment for recovery. Team Mental Health Services prides itself on going the extra mile for its members.
And it was towards the 6th court date. I finally stood up and said, I can handle this process the rest of the way. And it was all because of the motivation and encouragement I got from Team Mental Health staff.
Team Mental Health Services, because we care and you can.
We're continuing our conversation about healing the city, and we're joined with Melanie Jewel Penn.
Melanie Penn Jewel.
Melanie Penn Jewel, and she is a ordained minister and a licensed therapist. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
As we talk about the city healing and people healing in general, as a counselor, how do we incorporate that spiritual side of things?
Well, for those who are interested in having faith-based therapy, the Bible is basic instruction for daily living, so it allows us to look at things from a biblical perspective, having a God consciousness in our behaviors, our attitudes, and our perceptions. So it allows us to actually we look at, as therapists, we look at different techniques, but to our clients, they're not as well acquainted with the techniques, but they are more acquainted with the principles of faith, the principles of Christianity, the principles of a good spiritual foundation. So one of the things that we offer is balance in faith therapy. Because we're supposed to be, we're body, soul, and spirit, and that's how many of us operate. But what should dominate us is the spirit of the man, which is housed within us. So that should be the determining factor of how we operate. So biblically sound principles of faith therapy takes us back to operating out of the spirit, which allows us to analyze our emotions, step away from them, and do that's more practical, that's more rationally sound, that is spirit-led. And it helps to monitor our behaviors, our actions, our responses.
So our spiritual beliefs can serve as sort of a code of conduct for how we behave, and that can help us heal,
Absolutely.
Correct? Yes.
Absolutely.
And you specialize in Christian faith-based therapy, correct?
Yes.
But anybody of any denomination can use faith-based therapy to heal.
I think having a balance is important regardless of the denomination or the religious background.
Excellent. So what are some things we can do, Melanie, on a daily basis to incorporate our spiritual beliefs into improving our health?
I think that meditation is important. Spending some quiet time, bringing ourselves into alignment. You know, monitoring our emotions comes from meditation. And, you know, we talk about having moments of meditation, but during the day, having a course or a practice of meditation that we constantly practice throughout the day keeps us in tune with our irrational responses, keeps us from having those irrational responses if we practice being swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to respond.
And you provide therapy at Team Wellness Center. Do you have a client base where you see that because they're using faith-based therapy, that they are having a positive impact on themselves and thus on their community at large?
I do see where I have clients who are in recovery, those who have come from a very dark place to a place where they're in recovery, their vision has been established and made clear. You know, the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. You know, so in the context of that being said, that where their vision is made clear, so their vision becomes their motivation, and then their determination is whatever it may be in their personal lives. So once that has gotten clear, then they're able to move forward. So I've seen them moving forward, taking on battles that they were not emotionally prepared for, and coming out of a place of being unstable, let's say that. And a lot of my clients today are monitoring their mood without medication.
Oh, that's beautiful. Melanie, this is so powerful. We're so grateful that you shared this with us.
Thank you so much for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Stress, depression, and severe mental illness can happen to anyone. Team Mental Health Services has been helping those struggling with these conditions in southeastern Michigan. Within 24 hours of reaching out to our team, members receive psychiatric evaluations and begin the necessary treatment for recovery. Team Mental Health Services prides itself on going the extra mile for its members.
And it was towards the 6th court date. I finally stood up and said, I can handle this process the rest of the way. And it was all because of the motivation and encouragement I got from Team Mental Health staff.
Team Mental Health Services, because we care and you can.
The people here actually care about you and your future and what you become after you graduate high school.
Loyola's mission is to turn out good young men.
Loyola is a place to help us grow.
A smaller setting and more one-on-one.
Give you that one-on-one attention that you don't normally get.
Making sure that the student is taken care of spiritually, educationally, and physically.
I focus more at this school than I did all my other schools.
By the time they get to about the 10th or 11th grade, they're basically bonded like brothers.
If you're looking for a brotherly love or someone to lean on or get in touch with and talk to personally, this school is the perfect place to go.
Welcome back to My Healthy Mind. Now it's time to hear from our viewers. Remember, we want to hear from you, so please email us your questions and comments on our website, myhealthymind.com, send us a tweet on Twitter, or contact us on our Facebook page. So Michael, right now I have a question from Ricky in Northville.
Okay.
He says, I loved what the therapist Melanie Penjewel said about faith-based therapy. However, I have a question. What if my therapist is a different faith than me? What should I do?
Very good question. I would recommend that if your therapist is of a different faith, you can ask the facility that is offering the therapy whether or not they have your particular denomination available. But if not, perhaps that particular therapist is in a place where they can assist you through the spiritual side of it without necessarily proselytizing any particular religion or another, and you'll still get the benefits of using that angle to your therapy as opposed to just the academic side.
I love that. That's excellent.
And I have a question from Janet on Facebook, and she says, what are the benefits of meditation?
Ooh, that one's for me. Okay. Janet, excellent question. I can testify because I meditate on a daily basis, and research shows that meditation has tremendous health benefits in mind, body, and spirit. It literally lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, de-stresses you. You can feel the stress just dissipate from your body, and it's almost like you enter a sleep-like state, but you're awake. And it's so relaxing and soothing, you don't even want to come out of it. It enables you to clear your mind and process new ideas, and you just feel so refreshed when you finish it. So I highly recommend getting some training on how to meditate correctly so that it's effective for you.
Great answer. You know, I really appreciate our guests from today
Yes.
because they talked about wellness as a person,
Yes.
how it's going to help the community, and it's not a selfish thing, you know?
No,
it's not just about me, it's about the community at large.
Yes, I love that idea. When you think of it as like every vote counts for every person in the election, if you think about everything we do as individual citizens can help our city and our region, it's so powerful.
Yes.
And improving our physical health can help improve our region.
Absolutely. And even just the cost of healthcare.
Right.
So the healthier the community is, you know, the better the economy can be ultimately as well.
Yes.
And we get a lot of press right now about the economy and the city coming back and that kind of thing. And wouldn't it be just wonderful if the health of our citizens and you know, our life expectancy and vitality came back stronger than the city?
Yes, beautiful. I mean, Detroit is always ranking poorly on those health lists, like highest obesity rate or highest rate of this ailment. So let's bring those down so our city can shine.
Yeah, I think I took the same emphasis away from it today as well. But I really appreciated Melanie saying, hey, from a spiritual standpoint, you can get therapy. Because I think that when people are thinking about therapy and getting help for whatever their problem is, we oftentimes, at least in our industry, think academics. And we think that that's where you have to go, somebody who has that degree on the wall, which definitely has its place and is very, very beneficial. But to also understand that that same licensed therapist can approach things from a spiritual aspect was great as well.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Love it.
We love hearing from our viewers, so please remember Twitter, Facebook, email us, go to our website, and join us next time on My Healthy Mind.